I love werewolf movies. I do. I really thoroughly enjoy a good werewolf movie. Probably my favorite of the big three when it comes to your standard monsters: vampires, zombies, and werewolves. And I've thought to myself, there's been a severe lack of good werewolf movies. Now I know what you're going to say, but last December we had werewolves, and just this January we had Wolfman. Neither of which were good. I'm saying good werewolf movies. And I understand that there are constraints. I do understand that there are like severe constraints when it comes to, making a werewolf movie, because it is so goddamn hard special effects wise. I fully understand that this needs to you need a good special effects team to not only make the werewolf transformation sequence, whether it be full on transformation like American Werewolf in London, or the abominable skin ripping, which I despise. You need a solid effects team to make that a convincing werewolf. So I understand why Hollywood or any kind of budget it really constrains it. Whereas vampires really do take a lot of the spotlight. Like hell, I was really inspired after watching the phenomenal movie Sinners. After that movie, I was basically of the mindset of, we need a good werewolf movie. We need a solid werewolf movie again. And don't get me wrong, I love Sinners, and we've had an influx of really good vampire movies. There are very few really awful vampire movies. If I'm being honest, there aren't many vampire movies that I would consider bad in this day and age. I even enjoy the lesser ones, like Renfield and Last Voyage of the Demeter. I really enjoyed those. But the fact of the matter is, werewolf-wise, it has been sorely lacking for good werewolf content. I mean, honestly, ask yourself this. What is, and then another reason why I wanted to do this movie is because when someone does, top 10 werewolf movies, it's the same 10 movies that everyone brings up. At least with vampire or zombie movies, there's, a chance that, their typical favorites will, they'll change. There's some stuff there. But when it comes to werewolf movies, it's the same 10 movies 9 times out of 10. And, yeah, and don't get me wrong. American Werewolf in London, Dog Soldiers, my favorite of the werewolf movies, Dog Soldiers personally. Like I said, American Werewolf in London, Howling, Wolfman, The Wolfman, both the original 40s and 2010 remake. I think that's pretty good. Fucking bite me. There's just a severe lack of good werewolf movies. There is this severe... And ask yourself, when was the last time you saw a good one? Oh yeah, there are werewolf movies out there, but, are they good? And yeah, I could go on Amazon right now and look up, these lesser movies, these lesser low-budget werewolf movies, but are they good? The fast answer is no. They're all pretty awful. What we really need, and don't get me wrong, I understand that, budget constraint and whatnot, and it goes back to, special effects cost a lot of money, special practical effects, and also digital effects. Those all cost money. But at the same time, what we need, there's no vision for a werewolf movie these days. That's, I think, another thing that really kind of cripples it, if I'm being honest. I think there's no set vision for a werewolf movie. There's nothing really there that really makes one go, God damn, I have a that was a stunning movie about this creature that has been a part of Hollywood since I would say the 40s, or actually 30s if you want to go back to America, the original Werewolf in London, not American Werewolf in London. There was a Werewolf of London in from Universal in 1935, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, werewolf movies have been in time memoriam in cinema, but you haven't really seen a really damn good one since, I would argue, maybe 2014, or was it 2017 that this movie came in? That being Late Phases. It's a really cool movie about a blind elderly man who has now been forced by his family to live at a community home, and a werewolf is stalking among the old people. So he's blind, and he has to like fight this werewolf while trying to figure out who it is. It's actually a really solid movie. But really, after that, there's nothing there. And I've seen people say, "Oh, Wolf of Snow Hollow, that's a good movie." It's not a fucking werewolf movie. It turns out I'm going to spoil this movie because, like, I know people like, and if you like Wolf of Snow Hollow, that's totally fine. Personally, I didn't. I was just kind of like, really? We're just doing it's not really a werewolf. Yeah, it's not a werewolf. It's a guy who dresses up and people think it's a werewolf. Ugh. I hate when movies do that. Because again, there was like, there's no one no one in Hollywood wants to take the risk of doing a werewolf movie and make it interesting. I don't know if it's because like people don't think you can make a werewolf movie interesting. I don't know if that's the case, because like there's so many stories you can tell. Like, perfect example. Even though I didn't like the movie, there was a solid story you can still tell from that of the Wolfman remake from Lee Whannell's Wolfman, where in that one, it's the lycanthropy is like the werewolf transformation is treated like a form of like mutated rabies or something, and it really can be like, you can tell the story of like having this incurable disease that slowly you can make it an allegory for AIDS or cancer or diabetes, where you have this uncurable disease in your body and all you can do is manage the symptoms at best and how it affects your family members. Yeah. There you go. We have so many diseases out there, like, again, cancer, AIDS, so many major diseases out there that you could tell this story with, and you could use the lycanthropy as as like an allegory for, again, how do you control or mitigate these diseases of a thing you can't control until it like eats away at you, sometimes literally, or eats at your loved ones, again, literally. Or hell, you can use a werewolf to talk about, civil rights. I remember this. I can't remember the book, but I do remember this quote from a book where these two guys are talking, and in the book, one's a elderly white man, the other one's an elderly black man, and the African American man goes, "These people out here make, back in my day, the Klan would hunt you like you were some kind of monster in these movies," because they were watching Frankenstein, the 1930s one. He's like, back in my day, they would make you feel like a monster. So you could have, and hell, Rodney Barnes does that in Philadelphia, where he uses like Malcolm X as a werewolf, which, pause, that's awesome. But yeah, you could have it feel like a period piece werewolf movie. Take with the idea of Sinners and have it be that like it's a werewolf movie in like the 1960s, and have it that this man gets while trying to run from the Klan, gets mauled by a werewolf, and now he's like turned into a monster because of this persecution, and now this living monster inside of him. Again, I don't think I'd be qualified to write something like that, and you really need like a damn good writer to tell a story like that. But I'm just throwing out ideas here. I'm giving like all the ideas out here. Like, you could easily do that as a story of using, again, that transformation into a monster when people persecute you like a monster. You could, again, apply that to like Jewish persecution or LGBT or something of that nature. I'm just saying, like, there's so many ways we've been using vampires in and how it can, and horror's always been allegorical to politics, race relations, everything. That's, if you are a true horror fan, you understand this. So, and again, I just kind of feel like we haven't really done anything allegorical with werewolves since Ginger Snaps, really. Which was actually kind of like, using lycanthropy to like talk about like and compare it to, you know, womanhood and being on your period. Again, I'm not a woman, so I can't connect to that, but I know people who do. But that's kind of the allegory. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, Hollywood, you guys got to up your game on werewolf movies, because you haven't had, like, you could argue the last solid one, the pinnacle of it, was 1981 with Howling: An American Werewolf in London. And, though personally I say we haven't had a high point of werewolves for a good long while. But we have good werewolf movies, but we haven't had a solid one lately. But anyway, you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you think should be done with werewolf movies in the future? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.